So everybody, thanks so much for listening to the podcast. If you're listening to us on YouTube, we thank you so much. If you're listening to us on one of the other podcasts, Spotify or another website, radio, whatever it may be, we thank you also for that. But if you are listening to us on the internet, please like, subscribe, and share this interview. We are doing a candidate interview. This is Marsha Williams. She is in Illinois running for District 17. And that used to be Sherry Bustow's seat. She was endorsed by brand new Congress. And if you want to go to our website, it is Marsha Williams for Congress.com. So Marsha, first of all, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on. Really appreciate it today.
Well, thank you for having me on today.
All right. So obviously the past 2 years, I guess, have been pretty insane for everybody, and whether it's politics or coronavirus, but we'll dig into a little bit of all that. But first, can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself before we get into the interview?
Absolutely. I am a mom first. I'm a mother of 3 children, and I also work as an admissions advisor at a trade school that helps individuals get their Class A CDL so they can drive a semi-truck. Most of my students are low income or unemployed individuals. So over the last 3 years, I've dedicated myself in helping uplift members of the community from a poverty-like situation to a really good paying career and stable living, stable income, and stable so they can be able to provide a good life for their families.
What made you want to run for that district?
So I originally was running in District 16 because that was the district, because I have where I work in all over the state of Illinois. So I actually do have an apartment in Peoria, which was right outside of District 16. And but my home in Shanahan was located in District 16. So I kind of was like, okay, I knew with redistricting I was going to run it. So I originally was running in District 16 against Adam Kingsinger. And the reason why I chose to do that is basically he was accepting millions of dollars of corporate PAC donations, and that was concerning to me. And with what he was saying, how he was so outspoken against Trump, I knew the Republican Party was going to go against him, which they came at him with force. And so I knew that he was going to lose in the primary, so I was going to probably be running against a different candidate. So my original intent was to run for Adam Kingsinger's seat. However, with Illinois redistricting, how they did everything, Adam Kingsinger ended up retiring because they put Adam Kingsinger and Darren Lithood in one district. So, however, District 16 had become very Republican district, where our 2 senators, Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth, did not even fare well in that district. So my family and I, since we were looking at the maps, they said, okay, well, I have this home in Peoria that's in District 17, and we knew that was an open seat. And my message was still the same, as to bring the voice to the people in my district and to be actually give them true representation. And so we decided to switch to District 17 since it's already open seat.
Tell us a little bit about District 17 and where that seat is, kind of the demographics of the district, rather. Is it more of a Republican seat now because of the redistricting, or is it more Democratic?
So the demographics of the different district is pretty much a mix between urban and rural. We have a lot of urban areas, and then we have a lot of rural areas. It borders the western part of the state. It starts all the way up from Wisconsin, and it kind of loops around the border of Iowa, and then goes down to about central Illinois, where Peoria is, if anybody's familiar with the state. So we have a mix between both sides of the party. It's actually a very purple seat. Before it was an R plus or a Democratic +3. So like it was favor of the Democrats by 3 points. Now it favors the Democrats by 8 points. Now the Republican challenger that challenged Cheri Bustos last election cycle, Esther Joy King, actually is running again for re-election, and she has raised a lot of money because she's already had those connections with those previous donors, and she's already had, she gave Cheri like a run for her money.
Right.
She only lost by like 3 points last time, and so this is definitely a toss-up seat. This is a seat that could be easily lose to a Republican, and Esther has been fueling the big lie and a lot of the Trump policies. So we want to make sure that we can secure this seat for a Democrat. And I hope that Democrats me, because I'm kind of I've always been like a straight shooter. Like I always tell people like, what's on my mind and how it is, regardless if they think it's a good idea or not. But people like the honesty and knowing that someone actually is out there caring about them and actually trying to work with them to make everybody's life a lot easier and a lot better to live.
So how are you going to get Republicans to vote for you as well as the Democratic base to vote for you? Because it seems like you said this electorate in this district is getting more purple as the years go on. So you're going to have to target and get out those Republican voters and those moderate voters. So how are you going to do that in 2022?
Well, our district is really mark up a lot of blue collar workers, and I come from blue collar family. My father was a maintenance man at a grade school, which is a glorified name for a janitor, and my mother was a CNA. And I'm also, I guess you would consider me white collar because I work in an office, but I work with blue collar workers. I help people get their CDL so they can be a blue collar worker. So I've already made those connections with the community, and people see that I'm actually out there already making a difference in the community. And so the goal is to be able to hire organizers and field team officers to have people on the ground and actually talking to people and going into these towns that are from the big ones to the small ones to actually talk to people and have their voice being heard. Because that's pretty much the reason why I wanted to run, is I didn't feel like my voice was being heard, and I wanted to be able to be that representative to be able to actually go down there and actually talk to people, because we can learn so much about each other and be able to make our country better if we just start listening and and saying, okay, these are the problems, let's find a way to combat them. Because the main issue that we see in politics, and we can saw this with the infrastructure bill and with the voting rights bill, is that they play politics and it's back and forth and nothing gets done. And it's frustrating for many people to see this. And this is from me calling and speaking with voters already, and they're just like, we want progress. And when there's people are bickering about stupid little things back and forth and nothing's getting done, that's frustrating. And that's not just frustrating for Democrats, it's frustrating for Republicans as well, because we want to be able to make our country move forward, and we want to be able to make some good impactful changes regardless of what political party that we're in. And so I think a lot of people are just sick of how politics is being done and wants to be able to have somebody there to change it, and so they can actually do something.
I want to talk more about the people in your district. And when we are talking about the people in District 17 over in Illinois, what are they looking for in a candidate? What are the people on the ground saying to you? What are you hearing from them as what they want from you as a congresswoman from District 17 in Illinois?
So where we're at, we have a huge infrastructure problem.
Yeah.
So thankfully the infrastructure bill is starting to push through, and then we're working on that Build Back Better bill, and that would make such a good impact within the District 17 for many reasons. One is that a lot of these small rural areas and these smaller counties have lost really good paying union jobs due to so certain different factors. So there's going to bring some really good paying jobs and back into the district, especially with these smaller communities that where jobs aren't very fruitful. And then we already have a decaying infrastructure. A lot of these smaller rural areas actually do have old, outdated water systems. When we actually tested the water in some homes in the district, they had higher than the normal amount of lead. So then we can be able to completely replace those water systems in those small towns. There's a little small town that's in Illinois called Seneca, where they actually had a bridge that completely failed while somebody was driving over it. If they were in a nice truck, they actually would have fell and probably would have been severely injured or died. I can show you the photo if you ever want to put it up. It's a wild photo. You can, if you see on the road, the bumper is on one side of the road and the other bumper is on the other side of the road, and right below it is nothing because it collapsed. But this town has a population of 2,000 people, and they don't generate enough money through property taxes to be able to replace a bridge. And if they raise the property taxes, it would be astronomical. So they need help from the state or federal government to replace that bridge. And that bridge does go in and out of town, so they have a detour, and it's been very frustrating for the residents in that town. And that's just one of the many issues that we have in the district for as infrastructure wise. So we do create two things. One, we're updating the water and the road systems in these districts, and we're also being able to provide really good paying jobs that are going to last for a really long time for the residents in the district. The other issue that we have is for low income individuals. We do have a large population of poverty, people that are in poverty in our district. So with my experience as I was working at the school, is that they already have existing social programs that are actual federal programs that we can continue to expand on to be able to have help low income, or I call working poor or lower middle class individuals to get free job training for trades, because trade schools are usually a lot cheaper and a lot quicker to complete. And then these are really, really good paying jobs. The program is called, it's called Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. So short for it's called WIOA. It's actually a federal program where all the states all over the country actually offer this program. And they have to go through an application and approval process, but they get trade school paid for. They can get their CDL, they can do heating and air, they can do electricity, they can do plumbing, they can do certain type of IT things, stuff in nursing or the medical field. And these are they go there for maybe a month to 6 months, and next thing you know, 2 or 3 months later, they're making $60,000 to $70,000 a year for these jobs. And these are social programs that already exist that we need to expand on, so then we can be able to help these people that need just a little somebody to care enough to uplift them and help them out so they can be able to provide for the families.
Marsha Williams, again, Marsha Williams for Congress.com. Definitely check her out. I'm a progressive guy. I know a lot of people that are progressives. I personally am a Bernie Sanders person, voted for him in 2016 and in 2020. I voted for Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. There's a lot of Democrats that are progressives that are really fed up with Joe Biden, Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, and the rest of the clown car up there in Washington, D.C. And it's just my words. I'm not talking for you. I'm just saying my words. Because they've gotten some things done. The American Rescue Plan, the infrastructure bill got passed. Those are two big bills that, America definitely needed through this time of crisis. But the Build Back Better bill went from 3.5 to now it's 1.7. And Joe Manchin says that he's not going to even put it up to a vote. Personally, I believe that there's many other senators behind Joe Manchin, except he's taking the arrows and they just don't want to put their faces out there because he's taking all the bumps and bruises along the way that don't want to get this bill passed. Progressives have been really struggling right now. They've worked with the moderates. They haven't worked with the moderates. They're trying to play the good guy role and they get screwed left and right. If we hope you make it to Congress. If you do get there, how are you going to deal with these people that just like they're for the status quo? They don't get anything done. And then the Democrats, some of them that are really good Democrats that are really trying to work for the people, end up getting screwed in the elections because they get voted out because these people like Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, they don't want to do a damn thing for the regular working people.
I'm kind of like a different breed of progressive, because a person who's been so fed up with the system, right. And I've been Joe Manchin, I really got under fire with him recently because he said that the child credit for the child tax credit that they used it for drugs. And as a person that was a single mother for many years and actually received the child tax credit, I'm going to assure you that they're not used for drugs. They're used I used it for clothes for my daughter. I used it for toiletries because food stamps you can't get shampoo or toilet paper, right. Or deodorant with food stamps. So I use that to get toiletries. We would stock up for the year when I got it for my tax credit, for my taxes. I would use it for gas to get to and from work. I never used it for drugs. I never even used drugs in my life. And so the fact that he said that, I just chuckled because I'm like, okay, he's talking about people like me, and he's talking about people in my district who I know don't use it for drugs. They use it for the same reason what I use, is so they can be able to provide for their basic necessities, right. For their family. And he's driving a Maserati and he's riding on a yacht and he's telling poor people how to spend their money.
No, sick.
No, but yet it's okay if people that are the billionaires, they need a break. He's going to say yes, and he's going to give them a break for them to actually buy drugs with it. So that last part was a joke. So, so it's the system always, it seems like it hurts the little guy, and I don't want to hurt the little guy anymore, because I am the little guy. So I want to be able to. I'm going to be straight up with them. I'm not going to beat around the bush with them. I'm going to be straight. Hey, listen, people don't use this for drugs. They use this so they can be able to get gas to and from work. They can use this so they can be able to buy shampoo and body wash so they don't walk out around with everybody smelling like body odor, or so they can be able to have toilet paper to wipe themselves. Diapers for their kids, formula. Yep. I mean, this isn't for them to purchase drugs with, and I would look at them straight in their face and say no.
Can you talk to the viewers about your platform that you're running on?
So my huge three things I'm working on for my platform is Medicare for all, to be able to provide the Green New Deal so we can be able to transform our energy to 100% renewable energy over a period of 10 years. And my last thing is kind of a personal issue, is be able to reduce maternal mortality in our country, because our maternal mortality is at a very high amount, and so I want to be able to help reduce maternal mortality.
If you can tell viewers a little bit about the primary. I know there's 5 Democrats running, and how are you going to stand out from the rest of the pack with these 5 Democrats running against you in this field of 6?
Well, we'll see who gets to make it to the ballot. So at this point, we're waiting for after who the ballot signatures are completed and who I was able to turn in their ballot signatures. Mm-hmm. So that may reduce the amount of people running from that, or somebody might just quit. You never know. Right? The primary is 6 months away. Myself is just being myself. I and just being honest with the voters and having our team actually speak with people. That is how I will stand out. I'm a person where I'd like to kind of fly under the radar as much as possible. So but yeah, same thing as before. It's talking to people and having events and hearing what they have to say. And it's going well so far, my process.
All
So,
right. Again, Marsha Williams for Congress.com. Definitely check her out. So as we go to the end here, Marsha, where can people find more about you and help out your campaign in general? I know I just teased the website, but if there's anything else they can do.
If you want, you always can go to my website if you wanted to sign up for my email list, if you wanted to volunteer or donate at marshawilliamsforcongress.com. You also can find me on social media as Congress Marsha. You can find me on Facebook as Congress Marsha, Twitter as Congress Marsha, Instagram is Congress Marsha, and we also recently created a TikTok account. So you can also find all my social media on my website as well. And I appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Marsha. Again, Marsha Williams for Congress.com. She's running for the 17th Congressional District and was endorsed by brand new Congress. So Marsha, again, thanks so much.
You're welcome.